like to know, where is Emily? It's a shame. She is my favorite student.
Well, she couldn't be here today, but she's still present throughout our entire thought process for this project.
Wonderful. So, what were some of your original ideas for this project?
Well...
Surround the habitat with sunglasses so that the radiation can't get to people.
It has to be like a pretty thick, it has to act as like kind of ozone.
What about this?
We don't, like, humans don't need sunlight. Like, we could have it like there's layers.
Yeah, but people get depressed when there's no sunlight.
That's an interesting idea you have about sunglasses, but do you think you could expand a little bit more on that?
Well, we want there to be a dome around the living quarters that the astronauts are going to be in, and we want this dome to be made of polycarbonate, which is a material used in sunglasses. And this material filters all UV rays as well as other forms of radiation.
What are you planning to eat?
So one of the issues about living on Mars is that there's not an available food source. And so we have to pick plants that will sustain life when there's a low amount of gravity and the atmosphere is very, low.
What we are planning to do is plant different types of crops that will provide the humans living on Mars with the essential nutrients. We're thinking about growing sweet potatoes and regular potatoes and tomatoes and beans and other types of vegetables and fruits that have a lot of good nutrients.
Oh, and another thing that we were planning on doing was bringing some chocolate bars to Mars. Mars bars, haha. But because chocolate releases endorphins in your brain, which would allow the astronauts to be less depressed because if you're on Mars in a desolate planet with only one or two other people, you're probably not going to be the happiest person. But if there's chocolate, it
makes everything better.
Chocolate.
I want it all.
So what are you going to do about water?
Well, first of all, Mr. Zhang, you need to stop raiding my kitchen.
If we're going to live on Mars, we need water. Mars's ice caps are actually made out of frozen carbon dioxide. The only way we can get water is if we take water from the soil or the air. So we were thinking of compressing and freezing or cooling down the water in the atmosphere so that it could be used for plants, humans, and everything else. We can also take water out of the ground because there's deposits of water in the ground.
So what about energy?
So originally the problem that we faced was how to produce enough energy to provide for the astronauts in space. And so during our original plan, we had like 3 different alternatives that we could have used, but a lot of them are really heavy and expensive. So we originally wanted to use wind power, solar power, nuclear power, and geothermal.
But not all those are necessary in order to sustain life, so we're going to try to cut that down so we won't have to bring as much weight to Mars and therefore it won't cost as much money. So, Emily.
Yeah.
Which energy sources should we use?
We were thinking about using a nuclear reactor because geothermal would be, while it would be effective, we would still have to drill and it would be really heavy and bulky and it would just be too much.
This all sounds very interesting, but where is this habitat going to be?
Well, we were planning to actually have our habitat in a cave near a volcano called the Sierras Fosse. We chose this because if we're underground, UV rays and other radiation can't get to us.
Well, I must admit, girls, your ideas sound fantabulous. But how are you going to pay for all of this?
Well, we had a lot of ideas.
Lemonade!
Lemonade!
Lemonade! What does it even taste like?
Oh, ew.
Wow, that's disgusting.
Plan B.
Plan B.
No one wants a car wash.
Wait, we need to wash your car!
So none of those plans worked.
Well, we realized that high cost would be inevitable,
And
but
so we decided to pack light.
as light as possible, so that way we could reduce the total cost of the trip, because 1 pound costs $10,000 to bring to Mars. So we're just going to try to pack as little as possible and make the most of what we can bring.
Well, girls, I sure can't wait to put these ideas into action, because you're going to MIT!
Woo! Yeah!
Thank you to Mr. Zhang for providing us with all these amazing websites and all these sources, and just being an amazing teacher and helping us understand all the basic concepts for doing this project. You've been an awesome teacher all year, and we're going to miss you very much when we are sophomores. Right? Right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thanks, Mr. Zhang.
Bye.
Mars Project! Sending humans to Mars!